As mentioned, my name is Ebony Lewis. I am the director for newly formed department, the Gender Identity and Inclusion team at Milwaukee Public Schools, that is centered around serving and supporting students, girls of color specifically, as well as LGBTQ plus students. And I am also an author of Dear Black Boy, It's Okay to Cry, a book that I wrote 3 years ago dedicated to a cousin that I lost to suicide. One of the things I'm extremely passionate about is mental health, as well as telling stories and telling authentic stories. And so I think one of the themes that really stood out to me tonight with Antonio's song is that authenticity of his story, of that struggle between being Latin, between being Black, between being raised in Brooklyn and Bushwick and Bed-Stuy and wanting to be a dancer, right? All of those things that he struggled with. And so I think of the work that I do in my book and how those are the same things that I try to uplift in those areas. Understanding that they play a huge role in the mental health of our Black and brown boys, struggling with that toxic masculinity that diminishes who they are and tells them they can't cry or they can't feel or they can't dance, right? That ideal of the homophobia that sometimes creeps in when we have young boys that we want to be strong and we want them to be masculine because of our fear that the world is going to take them over and consume them. And so we instill and project our fear on them, and we don't allow them the spaces to thrive. And so I thought it was beautiful how he overcame that and how he moved from the diddy bop to a walk, how he discovered that walk. And so I think it's all of our jobs and responsibilities to do those same things for our youth and our children, right? Many times we understand that's where it starts. It starts as that 5-year-old boy or that 10-year-old boy that's trying to discover who they are and showing that in ways that isn't necessarily always right. The fight that he outlined in there of trying to be a man. I'm sure many of us in the room can look back to our own identity and trying to decipher, what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be a student or a wife or a mother or a father or a son, and trying to fit into all these boxes and not just being able to be. And so I think that was really one of the key themes that really stood out. Earlier today, my husband, who is here to support, he and I had a conversation about how sometimes we can learn so much from our children because they know many times what they want to be at very early ages. As I mentioned, I provide support for LGBTQ plus students throughout the Milwaukee Public School District. And many times we struggle with when we introduce identity to students, right? And when do we have those conversations, and when is too early or when is too young? And regardless of personal views, I think it's really important to identify that many times our youth, they know who they are. And of course, those things are going to change and shift as they grow and they learn, but we project, once again, our own thoughts and ideas on them. So then they're stunned of that growth. They're not able to be the artist or the creative minds because we tell them that they can, or no, you can't dance, or, here's a ball, go play sports, or here's this, go do this, or right, that idea that everything has to center around something that you can make a lot of money from. So you have to be a doctor or a lawyer, right? Those kind of things. And we never really fully instill some of the other really important things in them. And so I think I just really loved that reminder from this piece of all those challenges, but how you still can find your walk and how you can still discover that. And so I just leave with you all just, walking away from here, really be intentional as you move and as you find your walk, how that is going to show up in the lives of those that are looking up to you, of your children, of the people that you interface with every single day. I think it's really important for us to see his journey and then reflect on our own, and then tomorrow when we wake up, be really intentional about how we're instilling that into the lives of the people that are around us, whether they're young or old, right? We're all growing every day. And so once again, I'm Ebony Lewis. That was just a little bit of my thoughts from that. Also, Dear Black Boy, It's Okay to Cry. It's a book that I encourage for everyone. It's important that we're telling and sharing authentic stories with everyone. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you. And once again, thank you to the Milwaukee Rep and Antonio's song.